I've read, or rather say I listened to, 10 books in the last 10 days. And I can say I've never been more in love with reading. Let's back up a bit. This year started badly. We've been through a lot, and this year a war started. And it's awful. And somehow, completely inexplicably, I felt the need to read apocalyptic books. Why? I don't know. As I said, I'm a mood reader. I don't understand my reading habits at all. I don't know why I choose the books I choose, but I do. So I've read Project Hail Mary, and The Road, Station 11, The Parable of the Sower, and The Parable of the Talents. All these books, they have one thing in common, and that is they are mostly grim. They don't lack hope, but they are filled with rather dark things. So now, after all these, I kind of needed a bit of a change, and I stumbled upon simply typing audiobooks into YouTube. Multiple series by Victorine E. Lieske. This author has put all her books on her YouTube channel as audiobooks, and I find that extraordinary and wonderful for a writer to do that, and I can't be more thankful. I leave all the books in the description if one of them is of particular interest to you, but I actually love them all. They had an incredible effect on me. They got me out of the dark mood completely. They brought back all the feelings I had when I first met my husband, and that made me feel energetic and happy and all tingly up inside. They made me feel Christmas is coming, because all these books are like Hallmark films. You know, the one where the boy meets the girl and they fall in love and everything's all good, happy end included. And they are refreshing as well, because there are no sex scenes, no bad language. Everything is just great about them. They follow what I consider now to be a contemporary romance classic recipe. The guy is very rich, the girl not so much. They are stuck together due to some weird, funny, usually pretty unbelievable circumstance, but the situation gives them the opportunity to meet and really get to know each other and fall in love. Of course, they don't realize they've fallen in love, or they assume the other hasn't, but in the end they find a way to show their feelings and live happily ever after. So you're in for good vibes. What I also love about Victorine Lieske's books is the presence of epilogues. We have a closure to every story beyond the final lived happily ever after kiss, and I appreciated that a lot. So I spent the last days listening to these audiobooks, one after the other, every day, just about one, because I listen to them on double speed. The narrators are wonderful, and the audio quality is perfect, and I am still addicted. I won't stop until I listen to all her books. A single unique thing I found bugging me, and mind you, this was not in the first book, but after 2 or 3 books, I find it kind of annoying, is how the 2 main characters always seem to have electricity the first time they touch, and every time after that. I mean, I get it once, but in every book, this is how we understand the characters start falling in love with each other. There has to be another way. However, that's it. That's everything bad about these books. They are too cute and funny and put me in a good mood. So I spent the last 10 days listening to about one a day, and I absolutely fell in love with every one of them. I am addicted and will watch all the other ones Victorine E Lieske has on her YouTube channel. Let's dive in and see what each one is about, those I've read so far. The first one is Accidentally Married. Accidentally Married is the story of Madison Nichols, an aspiring actress in need of a job. When she thinks she goes to an interview to apply for one, due to a misunderstanding, she is put in the position to be Jared, the CEO's girlfriend. This goes too far in front of his family, so are bound together, pretend to be married soon. I love the premise and everything was funny enough. I love the family and how they try to get them together. All in all, a good read. The next one is Reluctantly Married, the story of Megan Holloway and her morning co-host Adam. Adam usually teases Megan and they have a banter during their morning show. This gets a lot of audience. They finally go out for a date, a live transmitted one, and this gets out of control. They are offered a show where their dates will be continually live streamed just to increase viewership. I found this was a pretty credible premise because I think most reality shows start out as staged things, and the dates leading up to a contract with a catch, again, pretty believable. So I love this one. Mistakenly Married is the one book whose premise is completely unbelievable. I didn't appreciate the premise at all, but the humor in this one is even better than in the other ones, so all in all, I still recommend you reading it. It's the story of Penny and Harrison who marry by mistake. She thinks he is someone else. He wants to marry because he has an inheritance which is conditioned upon him getting married. Of course, they remain married until he has the proof that he can inherit his fortune, and of course that brings up a lot of funny situations. Blissfully Married is the story of Sydney and Blake. Sydney owns a matchmaking agency and Blake is one of her clients. He is also a childhood friend and he became her client in order to spend more time with her and finally confessed how much he loved her. I loved here that the two already knew each other, and I loved how the author brings back memories of their childhood together. I think those things are especially well written. It created a homey atmosphere, a place where love would develop naturally. I love that. The next one is Acting Married, the story of Tara and Rick. Tara is a single mother cleaning houses, and one of her clients is Rick, who is an actor, a Hollywood bad boy, whose image is also in need of a cleanup. And what better way to clean up an image than a beautiful marriage? So he pays her to get married with him, and of course, only good things come from that. What I really found special about this book is that Tara is a mother, and I loved how Rick and her daughter's relationship forms and how realistic it seemed that he should bond with her over her daughter as well, because that is one of the most important things to a parent. And also I found that is quite different from the other romance books where people are usually beautifully single. Then I moved on to the Billionaire series. What I really don't like about this series is the books' names. Even the books are fine, even though the titles are a bit weird. And the first one is Her Big Fat Fake Billionaire Boyfriend. This is the story of Kenzie and Camden. Kenzie doesn't want to attend her sister's wedding alone and mistakes Camden for her date to hire. The premise, of course, is ludicrous, but do go on. I had a wonderful time watching the two of them fall in love. The book tackles a bit the subject of assumptions, and I loved how Kenzie realizes she misjudges people based on first impressions. Her big, fat, foxy billionaire best friend is the story of Miranda and her childhood best friend Drew. Drew has always been in love with Miranda, but Miranda has never noticed it. This is the one book I found where the character is really unlikable. I actually rooted for Drew to find someone else to marry and fall in love with. She seems to take advantage of him at every turn. Their friendship is completely one-sided. She doesn't appreciate anything he does for her and only looks for him when she's in need of something. She even leaves him alone whenever a new guy comes, however bad he is. She may have learned her lesson in the end, but it still left me with a sour taste. Her big, fat, hunky billionaire boss is the story of Catherine Fox and Damien Warren. Catherine Fox is a secretary to a local newspaper, while Damien has recently inherited the newspaper from his father and plans to shut it down. I love this premise and I love how Catherine shows him the pleasures and the downsides of living in a small town. I really appreciated the details here. They are very realistic, especially Catherine dealing with a sick parent. It made her really more relatable. Her big, fat, dreamy billionaire ex is the story of Felicity and Aiden. Felicity is hired to take pictures of an exclusive resort, and she realizes the resort now belongs to her ex-boyfriend. The one thing I found less believable in this story is how they split up years ago, but it didn't really matter. In the end, I enjoyed their love story rekindling and how they learn to love each other in a more mature way with better communication now. A Marriage of Anything But Convenience is the story of Nara and Derek. They were friends growing up, and now they are forced by Nara's father to marry. This way, her father will leave Derek the company and her future will be insured as well. So while the premise is a little out there, I didn't understand the aversion of Nara against Derek at first. It seemed a bit forced, especially because she does change her mood towards him in the next few days. However, in the end, I love the way they fall in love and the way Derek insists on her getting closer to her father. That's it. I listened to all these books in a few days and they made me feel wonderful. I highly recommend all of them. I will certainly continue with all other books by Victorine Lieske in the next days. However, I am looking forward to finding a romantic novel where the two aren't rich. Is there such a thing? Do you know any? Tell me in the comments. I'm Maria from Read Fine Books. Thank you for watching.